Hi, this is Miss Feldman Tentori, and I'd like to welcome you to the online lecture for creating a website for a business. So let's get stuck straight into it. First, before you build a website, you need to know what your goals are. So in this module, we've talked about a lot of different things that are related to eBusiness, and that's why assignment 1 looked at all different aspects of eBusiness, and you really got to analyze and have a look at a real business and how eBusiness played a part in that, and ICT. You did a business model canvas, so you looked at how the whole business fit together. You looked at all these 9 different areas. And using that knowledge that you gained in the first assignment, now you need to create some main goals and secondary goals for your website. So before just creating a website, it's really important for a business to understand why they're doing this and what they're going to achieve with that, and writing it down. Remember about making them smart so that you know when you've actually met your goals. And who are you building it for? That's why we did the personas. So with the 2 personas that you've created, you understand who the business is for. Now, you have done an analysis of a real business, and in this assignment, because this is a live website that you'll be building, you will not be using the same name of the business. So we have a template that we've created as part of assignment 2 where you can change things. So you're still going to be building a website based around the same kind of business. So let's say you were looking at a bakery or a shoe store or a jewelry or a barber shop. We saw some great range of businesses. So you'll be using the same concept, the same personas and target market, the same kind of business model, but you will be changing the name, and you won't be using any of the name or text from the original business. But you still now have a good understanding of a business model and personas and the target market. When you build a website, you need to think about the structure. Now, the ones we'll be building for the assignment are only around about 5 pages, so you don't have to put a huge amount of thought into this. And now it'll become clear why we asked you to choose a small business rather than a really big one, which have huge website maps and structures. But we'd like you to know about the concept, so you can look at sitemaps on Google. There's a good link there to learn about a sitemap, because websites need to have a good structure supporting them. This is what the structure looks like in the XML to the Google bots that are crawling for the SEO. And there's ways that you can look at that, but in most cases, and particularly for small businesses, you'll only be looking at the way that you structure the pages and the menus. There's also another tool that you can check out. So if you're interested, you may like to enter your original business that you analyzed into a tool like this and have a look how sitemaps are set up. But like I said, for assignment 2, you don't have to worry too much about sitemaps because we've only got a 5-page website, but it's an important concept to understand. This is just a very simple one. This is one of my blogs that I've done it for. It's a simple hierarchy. So hierarchy is you'll have a top page and a page underneath, and the way that things are structured. So in a simple website that you'll be building, it'll all be the same. But if you look at a huge website, for example, like Coolblue, they'll have their home page and then they'll have a hierarchy of different categories. So they'll have, for example, you might be buying a washing machine, then they'll have the brands, then they'll have the type of washing machine. So that's what a sitemap is in the hierarchy. You will also need to think about the text that you use on your site. So for example, this is a cut and paste from one of my own websites, which is really just a basic blog, but you need to think through the text that you're writing. So that's why we looked at the culture of your target market, the language, all that kind of thing. Of course, all the assignments will be in English, but in a real business, then the language is important, and sometimes you can switch back and forward. Writing the text is a part of this assignment, and we'll go into that in more detail later. Let's move on to the website design and content. Now, big companies will always use a web designer, a big company, and usually content writers as well. But again, why we asked you to choose a small business is that these days a majority of small businesses are choosing their own website design and content. So you look at the website design, there's something called the CRAP principles. So we'll do a lecture on these next week. So we'll go into more detail, but just so you know, there's different aspects of website design and the content that you'll use on your site. So next week's lecture will go into more detail. Now, why WordPress? We are asking everybody for this assignment to create a WordPress website. The main reason for that is that WordPress is free and open source. It's scalable, so that means if the business grows, the website can grow with you. It's a very popular skill to have, so if you've never worked with WordPress before, it may take a little bit of time to learn, but it's a very good skill to have on your CV, and it's very easy to use, and most business owners are familiar with WordPress. There's WordPress.com, which we'll be using for this assignment. That's the free one, which is also a blog, but we can use it to create a website. And there's WordPress.org, which is more complicated, and we won't be using this, but you might like to research the differences between them. How can you tell if a site is WordPress? If it's a free one, down the bottom it'll have .wordpress.com in the URL. But if you use a WordPress.org site, it's a lot less obvious because you're buying your own URL. But it's a tool behind the scenes, and you don't always know which platform a website is built just on using it. Remember last term we looked at how a website's like a house, so I shared a blog post I wrote for some of my clients in the past about all the different components. So this will now start to make more sense when you're building your own website. So how do you start? It's really simple. Just go to WordPress.com and create an account. You can use your university email address, or you can use another one. Then you have to choose a theme. Now keep in mind your business and your target market and what kind of things that they would like. And you can change this later, but you'll need to do this at the very beginning. Then choose a free domain. You don't have to pay to set something up for this assignment. Now this is where you need to have thought of your business name that's not a real one. That can be a bit tough, but of course you can use Google to find something out. Or for the URL in the assignment, it's not that important. You can use, for example, a student number, but this is a live website. So in the assignment, you'll need to tell us what URL a real business would have, but when you're setting it up now, it's not really all that important. So you can use what you like to just get started. Choose the free plan, but keep in mind, because for the assignment, you need to look at what it costs to run a website. So this is important information for you to take a look at. Create your account. So as I said, use your school email address, your university one, or a private one, that's fine, but make sure that you check because you'll receive an email. Have a look through the terms of service because a real business would need to be aware of these. And then go and check your email, and you'll need to verify the email sent to you. And now you're the proud owner of a website. So that's step one of your assignment done. Then you'll get your dashboard. There are a lot of different resources online to use WordPress.com. Your welcome email will give you a good start. Now, I've taught this module for a few years now, and I know from past experience, my own and other students, at first it's going to seem a bit overwhelming if you've never done this before. But that's the whole point of learning. Just take it step by step. Read through some of the links to help you get started. If you have worked with WordPress before or websites, you'll be able to move through it a lot more quickly. But if you're brand new to it, just take it step by step. Here are the basic building blocks of a WordPress website. So firstly, there's a post. Now, a post is often part of a blog, and we'll explain this to you in the workshops and this will become more familiar, but it's usually a news type article, and it's called a post because it's posted regularly. A page is one of the 5 pages that you'll need for your website. So usually this is a more static page of information on the menu tab. So for example, on the right here, about is a page, buy the book is a page, contributing authors is a page, news is a page, and here news is a blog, and underneath that news page fits the posts. Now this is not going to make a lot of sense if you're brand new to it, but come back to it later as you get used to it. And welcome or the home page is the most popular and familiar page of a website. Now, one example site I set up previously for this module is at dutchedup.wordpress.com. You can have a look. That's just a really simple WordPress site, and I'll be setting up another one and recording another video to show you as well. And this is the point of the workshops where we can help you with this, and there's a lot of resources online. So that's the very beginning of setting up a website for a business. Then once you've built a website, we're not going to go into this now, but I'm just showing you how the pieces fit together. You'll need to then later create a digital marketing strategy, because you can have the best website in the world, and if you don't have a digital marketing strategy, people won't know how to find it. So we'll do a separate lecture on this in a couple of weeks. This is one that I have done for my own business with Zesty.com, and I've done this for many years now. I've created social media strategies, SEO strategies, digital marketing strategies for business. So I'll talk you through some of the basics of that. You will meet challenges, as I said. This is a brand new skill for a majority of you, and it will be frustrating at first because it's new, and it's really important to learn how to deal with challenges. So here's just a few that you may come across. I've also included in your report a small section at the end so that you can write through a few of your challenges, because this will continue to be something that you face throughout your studies, throughout your working career. Not everything's going to be easy, and if it is completely easy, then you're not learning. So one challenge you may come across is time. Everything takes a while to learn, and that's why in the syllabus we've allowed for a certain number of hours for this module that you can just take things through step by step, and usually at your own pace. There's a lot of resources out there. WordPress is a very popular tool, and you can just literally just Google, use YouTube, and start looking for different resources. Don't be afraid to ask classmates and your lecturer as well. It's really a skill worth having to learn the basics of setting up a WordPress website or blog, but it's also a skill to learn how to manage your time and to learn how to find resources and help when you need them. Images is something you'll come across. We'll talk more about this in more depth in the future as well. But if I can teach you one thing in this workshop, do not steal images from other people. Just because they're on Google, they're not free. So you need to learn how to find great copyright images. In the few years I've been working in digital marketing, and in the few years I've been teaching this course, this is getting easier and easier. I used to just take all my own photos, but now there's some great solutions like canva.com, and there's a few other websites I'll share on Blackboard with free images that you're able to use, which are Creative Commons 0, meaning they're free to use. There's also ones that are sold for $1 each. Of course, for your assignment, you don't have to buy them, but this is a really good thing to learn in the practical world, and not just for the assignment, that you need to be able to find some great copyright images. So we'll help you out with that. But that's a challenge at first, finding images that suit your company, your products, your target market, but we'll help you do that. Also, making things just look just right. Once you choose the template, things need to fit in there, and it can take a bit to move things around. So think about how you want your website to look first. Try out different templates, and I sketch, like I draw on a piece of paper how I want it to look as well. And sometimes you'll just need to accept that there's restrictions. You won't get your website looking exactly how you want, but templates are making this easier and easier. And when you get good at web design and you start upgrading and paying for templates, you have even more control out of this. But in the free templates and the free WordPress.com, you will have some restrictions. So when you choose your template, that's going to determine a lot about how your site looks. So if you have questions, of course, come and ask in the Facebook group. There are workshops this week, and most weeks, not next week, but most weeks there'll be a workshop where you can come and ask your lecturer questions. But work through things, ask questions whenever you need help. And I think you'll find, as most students have, that at first this might be challenging if it's brand new to you, but it's good fun to learn. It's a good skill, and we're here to help you along the way. So good luck, and that's the first lecture for Block 2 on creating a website for business.